Okay, so this is our next question from XAT23. You can pause this video and try it out and resume for its solution. So the question reads, a small jar contained water, lime and sugar in the ratio 90:7:3. A glass contained only water and sugar in it. Contents of both the small jar and glass were mixed in a bigger jar, and the ratio of the contents in the bigger jar was 85, 5, 10 water, lime and sugar respectively. Find the percentage of water in the bigger jar. So that's your entire question. We have five options in percentages: 70, 75, 80, 72.5 and 85. Okay, so this question, very frankly, I have to admit that it had me in the first go. I mean, I just read the question like incorrectly and I arrived at the option D. But I'll tell you why I calculated the option D as the answer. So meanwhile, let's look at the correct approach. They're asking you what is the percentage of water in the bigger jar. Now we know that in the bigger jar, the ratio of the contents is 85:5:10. So water is 85 parts, lime is 5 parts, and sugar is 10 parts. So 85 parts is water. Out of 85 plus 5 plus 10, that is 100. So 85 out of 100 is basically the water content. So that percentage comes out to be 85. And very clearly it is the E option. It's a very straightforward question. Now the mistake I made in the first go was I tried to find out the percentage of water in the glass. Okay, if you read the data carefully, the glass contained only water and sugar. So in that, the percentage of water is missing. So let us suppose this was the question now. If this had been the question, find out the percentage of water in the glass. How do we approach the question? So let's see how we do it. Okay, so now I've written down the ratio of water, lime and sugar as given in the question. The small jar here contains water, lime and sugar in the ratio 90:7:3, and the bigger jar contains these three components in the ratio 85:5:10. In the bigger jar's ratios, 85, 5 and 10 have a common factor 5 which we can cancel out. So cancelling out 5 everywhere, I'm left with 17, 1 and 2. So the simplest ratio is 17:1:2. Now let's observe something, guys. The glass contains only water and sugar as per the data, right? The glass contained only water and sugar in it. That means whatever lime content is there, that same lime content is present in the bigger jar, right? So the one that we have in the bigger jar corresponds to 7 in the smaller jar, right? So since it's the same content, we need to make the same value in both the ratios. So the second ratio, the bigger jar, will multiply throughout by 7, and multiplying this entire ratio throughout by 7, I'll get the ratio of water, lime and sugar as 17 into 7, 119. 1 into 7 is 7 and 2 into 7 is 14. And now after we make the lime content in both the ratios same, we can directly compare the remaining components. The total water content in the bigger jar is 119 units. Out of that, 90 units came from the smaller jar. So obviously the glass contains 119 minus 90, 29 units of water. And the sugar content in the smaller jar was 3, while the bigger jar contains 14. That means the glass contained 14 minus 3, 11 units of sugar. So now the glass basically contains 29 plus 11, that is 40. Total 40 units, out of which 29 units is water. 29 out of 40 multiplied by 100 is basically 72.5%. And that's how I arrived at the incorrect answer to the correct question which I had in mind. The percentage of water in the glass was 72.5. But yes, as per the question asked here, the answer is 85. But had the question been find the percentage of water in the glass, the answer would have been option D, 72.5%.